Good day, mates. I hope this works. Thank you all for staying after service. This was just the most incredible trip, and we started out going to Sydney. Brenda and I went together, and Jacque and Beth went together, and we spent we spent a wonderful week in Sydney, and then we traveled to Brisbane on Friday, March 11th. During the flight, I asked Brenda if she thought Sally would greet us with flags and fanfare. You know, Brenda said, oh, no. Well, we disembarked from the plane, and there was Sally with two other congregants and lots of fanfare. Somehow, they had gotten to the gate. Sally had a sign that said, "Good day, y'all. Welcome to Brisbane. Leave it to Sally to find a way to get to the gate." The trip from DFW to Sydney had taken us 17 hours. Fortunately, the trip to Brisbane only took 1.5 hours. Brenda and I arrived together, and then Jacque and Beth came an hour later. This slide shows this shows Brenda and Sally and a wonderful congregant. His name was Kate and myself. And Sally had brought a U.S. flag, a Texas flag, an Australian flag, and she's from New Zealand originally, so she brought a New Zealand flag. And Kate was just the most amazing, enthusiastic person, and I just wanted to pack her up in my suitcase and bring her home. I still want to. So we had a great introduction. That night, the congregants had rented a social hall for a Kabbalat or a Shabbat welcoming dinner at a local social hall. Cantor, David, and Brenda said the motzi over the challah. As you can see, the food was extremely yummy. Most of it was made by the congregants themselves. All right. Many of Beit Or's congregants were at the dinner. Some of them had come from Russia, some from South Africa, others from Israel, New Zealand, and New Guinea. And there were a few native Australians. Everyone was thrilled, absolutely thrilled about their new Torah, and they gave us a wonderful welcome. And this picture shows how many congregants were there, and what a wonderful night it was. It's on.
I have no place else to wear this out, so. Okay, when we decided to donate this particular Torah, a search was done to determine its history, and unfortunately at that point we couldn't determine where the Torah had come from that we were donating before Sheriff Israel actually gave it to us. This will not happen at Beit Or. We have we have attached this dedication plate to the Torah we donated, so they'll never forget where they got it from. Saturday morning, the Torah portion was read by several people. This photo shows Sally Castle, and she had a surprise for all of us because she is reading Torah, our Torah, and her very first time to read from a Torah. She's assisted by Cantor David Bentley. The three of us who were there, Marsha was ill, but Jacque, Brenda, and Beth were all called up for an aliyah during the Shabbat morning service. Saturday night we had Havdalah with a very flaming candle. And David Bentley's holding the candle. he led the service. And there was a Havdalah dinner that Sally Castle hosted for all the Temple Shalom ladies and several members of Beit Or congregation.
Sunday was the long-awaited day of the Kabbalat Torah, the welcoming and dedication of the Torah. I'd like to begin by reading a paragraph of a letter that Rabbi Paley sent in recognition of this occasion. And I quote, "This particular Torah has served Temple Shalom for many, many years. It has been a fantastic journey to share and give this Torah to you. To know that we will forever be connected because of this Torah, and now because of the friendships we have created because of this Torah, is another source of blessing and simcha." Comprised of approximately 45 members, including 12 families, as Marsha pointed out, the members of Congregation Beit Or come from diverse backgrounds. But regardless of their age or country of origin, they have all come together to form a warm, welcoming, and inclusive community. While it is hard to predict all the ways that having a Sefer Torah will impact the future of the congregation, they are hoping that it will help to grow their membership, deepen their connection to their faith, and enrich their services. In order to appropriately welcome, In order to appropriately welcome and honor the Torah, a member of the congregation actually took it upon himself to build this beautiful new home for it. The ark was lovingly made by hand to the exact specifications of the Torah. Another talented member designed and constructed these beautiful Torah covers from scratch.
She told us that she spent about $1,000 putting those together.
Simchat Torah celebrates the conclusion of the annual cycle of Torah readings and the commencement of another. For the members of Beit Or, the receipt of the Torah marked an even more significant beginning in the cycle of Torah readings. And so they danced, sang, and rejoiced as if it was Simchat Torah. Prior to receiving our Torah gift, Congregation Beit Or used a chumash, or a printed replica of the Torah, for their services. For simchas, such as weddings and bar mitzvahs, when a kosher Torah was needed, they borrowed one that was housed at a synagogue 60 miles away. Sadly, the Torah's owner had put so many restrictions on how it was to be handled that many of Beit Or's members had never even had an opportunity to see a Sefer Torah, much less hold one. You can imagine their surprise, joy, and curiosity when Cantor Bentley opened the Torah and rolled it out across several tables. What started out as a party now became a teachable moment. Thanks to the evaluation of the Torah completed by our own Rabbi Druin at the Biennial in Orlando, Cantor Bentley was able to share information about the origins of this Torah. We now know that it was written in Poland and that it is approximately 100 years old. You may have heard Rabbi Paley and others who have held this Torah before complain about how heavy and difficult it was to lift and hold. Rabbi Druin explained that the parchment that was used to create this Torah was rather thin. So in order to strengthen it and protect the parchment and make it more readable, a glaze was placed on the front and back of each piece, thus the additional weight. Children and adults alike listened intently as Cantor Bentley talked about the structure of the Torah, explaining that all of the materials that we use, the writings, and the layout had to be done exactly to specification. Did you know, for instance, that the 10 Commandments are always in the middle of the Torah? A story exists in the Talmud about a man who planted a tree and explained to a passerby that he would never live to see its fruit, but rather that his children would enjoy the fruit. To quote Cantor Kroll, "We are planting this tree for the community in Brisbane from the fruit that was planted for us."
We felt like stars, you know, like we were on the red carpet at the Oscars.
But we weren't. The Torah was the star. And it was a very wonderful time. And as you can see by Sally's face, they felt so blessed, and they welcomed us in the Torah in such an incredible way. And then there's the rest of the trip, which was amazing. And like I say, if you feel like you might want to take a trip down there, you will have family. From the minute we got off the plane in Brisbane, what's her name? The rabbi and
That was in
Joe.
Sydney. Okay, Sydney's.
In Sydney. We had dinner the first day after 17 hours of being on a plane with family, with Jocelyn, who was the president of the executive director of World Union of Progressive Judaism. It was an amazing
She's the executive
feeling.
director of the
None of them had ever met them.
branch of
It was family. I don't remember the details, that's my stop. Okay, the most important thing is when you go to Brisbane, we weren't just tourists, we were family. And when they sent us off to the Great Barrier Reef, they sent us off as family and welcomed all of you to please come and visit. You always have a home when you go to Brisbane. Please, if you want to, it would be a wonderful thing. And so the surprise that I wanted to share is right now, as you know, it's Saturday morning. They are having a bar mitzvah, the first bar mitzvah with our Torah, where a young man who is a high-functioning autistic child, and it is their first bar mitzvah right now with our Torah. And so it hopefully is just the beginning of many. Their finger is strong. Their president is actually the teacher at the Cheder. These children go to have a very Jewish moment, a very Jewish place for them, close, local, so they don't have to travel 60 miles. So we just want you to know that from this day on, it is a Torah that is not just being looked at, but it is a Torah that is being opened and read and used, and hopefully it will grow their congregation. So we just wanted to share this with you.